I think we have an opportunity right now to flip every seat. Um, I think some of them are longer shots than others. Mine is a long shot. We're talking about a 60% Trump, an R60 or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
So that's a big flip.
Welcome to the Politics Chicks podcast. I'm Christy Branham.
And I'm Monica Healy.
Monica and I are always talking about the fact that it is so important to vote up and down the ballot. Today, we're joined by Jeff Larson, who is running for the Minnesota House in District 10B, a district that stretches across Mille Lacs, Isanti, Kennebec, Benton, and Morrison counties.
Jeff's running at a fascinating political moment. District 10B has leaned Republican for more than a decade, but many voters across Minnesota, and really across the country, are reevaluating what they want from their elected leaders. Today, we'll talk about why Jeff decided to run, what he's hearing from voters, and what it takes to compete in a district that many consider a tough pickup opportunity.
Jeff, welcome to the Politics Chicks.
Thank you. It's really nice to be with you today.
And we'll note that this is take two because technology is great until it's not. And we did this whole thing and then it didn't work, and new laptop later for this one, and here we are. So thanks for coming back with us. Let's start at the beginning, because you told us before that this is a relatively new campaign for you. So what made you decide to jump in now?
Well, I had been involved locally in the DFL for many years, and had sort of been on the sidelines for a few years, really since COVID. I had served on the school board, and when I left that role, I decided to just kind of sit on the sidelines. And eventually, in the last couple of years, my wife and some of her friends started an Indivisible chapter. And my sister is also involved in Indivisible in the Twin Cities. And I started thinking, okay, the DFL around here is just empty. Nothing's going on, and has been pretty quiet for a while. And I worried about what they're going to do. We get all these volunteers going with Indivisible. Where are they going to vote? How are they going to caucus? And so I started organizing that way and got involved in organizing our caucus this year. And then proceeded to start to try to find a candidate to run for the House. And I talked to several people, got close with a couple of them, and then right before the endorsing convention, people backed out. And at the endorsing convention, I was suddenly struck by the need to run. So that was, I nudged my brother, who was also a delegate at that convention, and I said, nominate me, and he did. And we just took off and started running from that day on. And it's been quite a whirlwind, but we built a good foundation, and we're doing pretty well at this point. So I'm excited.
This is the first time in a long time that every district across Minnesota has had a Democratic opponent. So kudos to you for jumping in the race, because we need the country and our state and local people to notice that every seat is gettable.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of enthusiasm around here where it's been pretty quiet for the last few years. The last two cycles, my opponent ran essentially unopposed. There was a name on the ballot, but nobody spent any money. Nobody went to parades. Nobody knocked on doors. No ads, no conversation even, really. So people are excited to be able to have a voice again, and to have a campaign to rally around. And I think we're getting pretty good turnout and a lot of good support.
Well, let's talk about the concerns and topics that you're running on in your district, because you live in a very rural area. And the part of the state that you're located in is beautiful. I love driving through Mille Lacs. It is just absolutely stunning, especially when you see the Ojibwe still actually spear hunt for fish out on the lake. So it's kind of cool when if you're driving through and they're out fishing, and it's just pristine and clean. So what are the issues that are really important to people in your district, and why do you think a Democrat can address them better than the representative that they've had, who's a Republican for the past, how many years has he been there? Like a long time. This,
Well, I've lived here. I just posted a little reel on Instagram today about I have lived here for 30 years in the same house, and I have been represented by by Republicans for all but 2 of those years. So it has been, and as a result, so I've been represented by a party whose platform is to shrink government and really to starve the beast, as they say. And this is the result of that. And that's what people are talking about right now. They've seen a whittling away of healthcare. They've watched our family farms begin to disappear and farming operations having more and more difficulty operating. Our school populations are shrinking because people can't afford to live in these small towns anymore and commute with $4 gas. So I think those are the three biggest issues. If I would say one is the one that gets people talking the most is when I ask them questions about their health care. It's just, people are fried. The cost that they have to pay for premiums, the cost they're having to pay for co-pays and co-insurance, the distance they have to go to get
yeah,
care.
you guys don't have the small rural hospitals have shut down, so you're probably driving at least an hour to hour and a half for healthcare, right?
Right. It's, well, especially specialty care. So, there's a hospital in Princeton that has a pretty robust clinic. It's operated by Fairview, but they don't have as much access to specialty appointments. So if you need to see a specialist and you want to do it in a timely fashion, you need to go to Minneapolis or you need to go to St. Cloud. And if you want to stay within the Fairview system, which your insurance might dictate, you need to go to Minneapolis
Yeah.
or Maple Grove or one of the suburbs. So it's really tough, especially for folks, older people who live in the country who don't like driving in the city and are afraid of the city. It becomes really, really challenging for folks.
As we're recording this, we're about a week out from Minnesota's primaries, and we saw huge record voter turnout across Minnesota, and especially amongst the Democrats. So it looks like maybe the independent voter may be what swings districts one way or the other. What are you hearing about the independent voters in your district?
Well, there's a lot of people that identify themselves as independents, even though they may have picked one party several cycles in a row. We're a very independent bunch here. So I think that's a big chunk of the electorate. I will also say that in 2024, Kamala Harris got 20% of the vote in this House district, and in Tuesday's primary, the Senate candidates totaled 29.5%. So we had a pretty significant jump in DFL just with very little campaigning. None of the big candidates have been campaigning in this district. They see it as as not winnable. So we don't get a lot of attention. Essentially, I've probably been the only one that's been campaigning much in 10B. And I don't think our campaign's done enough to make that kind of a swing. So that's enthusiasm as far as I can tell to see that kind of an increase. So,
off the top of your head, do you know what that swing was for the governor's race? From Trump voters to Peggy Flanagan?
In the governor's race or the Senate race?
Amy
in the governor's
Klobuchar is
race.
running for governor.
I'm sorry. Yes, Amy Klobuchar.
I don't know because I only totaled it off the Senate because the people who I've been talking to said we're going to total it off of the top of the ticket because we're comparing the top of the ticket from 2024 with the top of the ticket in 26. So that's why we made that comparison just to try and keep it similar. But I don't think it was very. I think it was very similar.
Well,
in terms of those numbers.
When we looked at Peggy Flanagan's campaign, it was the many against the money, right? And you are about as grassroots as you're going to get because you were like wet behind the ears, like barely sprouted green grass when you actually were nominated because you didn't go to the convention even thinking about running for this seat, and all of a sudden you are in this race, right? So, what do you think is going to happen in the Minnesota State House? Do you think that you guys have a shot of flipping it? I feel it that you do, just talking to some of the other candidates that we've interviewed, that people are just sick and tired of being told that that change is going to happen, and it stays the same. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think we have an opportunity right now to flip every seat. I think some of them are longer shots than others. Mine is a long shot. We're talking about a 60% Trump, an R60 or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
So that's a big flip. But I also know that there's a lot of dissatisfied voters out there. There's a lot of disconnected voters. There's a lot of disappointed voters that are looking, and they look at a lot of national issues and how that's affecting them in their pocketbook today. So these are huge. And if we can talk to enough people face to face and rally enough, get our volunteers knocking on doors and making phone calls, which we've been trying to do, that can sway anything. So as you see such a big swing, an unexpected win for Peggy. I mean, not it wasn't unexpected necessarily that she was going to win, but that kind of
The spread.
The spread was
so.
I did not think it was going to be that wide.
Yeah, it was a decisive victory.
It was
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
Well, and even in this district where I think Angie was strong, Peggy still won it by 2%. So
Yeah.
You mentioned at the top of the show that your sister works for Indivisible, and that's how our connection came about, was because we talked to your sister, Rebecca Larson, who is one of the co-directors of Indivisible Twin Cities. And the Indivisible chapters have exploded across the country in the wake of Trump 2.0. And of course, they started during the first administration. Are there chapters local to you?
Yeah, and that was, so my wife and a few friends started an Indivisible chapter last summer. I believe it was that they first started pulling people together and did some roadside protests and a few other events, bringing people together. And that's been, they're just plugging away and continuing to build that chapter here. And there's chapters all around us. They're called Spirit River Indivisible, and they focus on the communities up and down the Rum River. So from Lake Mille Lacs on down here to Princeton. There's also an Indivisible chapter that's really active over in Cambridge. Pine City has a chapter. There's folks that are doing similar. I don't think there's necessarily a chapter in Mora, which is about 20 miles away, but there's a lot of activism happening there as well. So people are really stepping up. And
They're motivated right now.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
And that's the kind of activation that we're seeing across the country that can build that sea change. You talked about your district being a hard flip, but it's gettable in the long run.
Right. And I mean, I'll tell you, when I addressed the convention, when I accepted the nomination, I said, what I see happening right now is very similar to what I saw happening in 2004 and 6 when we nominated Gail Kulik to run for the House of Representatives in 2004. She lost again in 2006. She got way closer. And in 2008, when with the presidential election and Obama's election, she won that seat by 82 votes. And we also won a Senate seat that year by 82 votes. So it was, they both went to a recount. It was an exciting time. But I see very similar things happening, but it feels bigger to me. It feels like the wave is happening sooner than it did 20 years ago. And I think there is, when I got the nomination, I said, I'll run now. I don't know about 2 years from now, but I want to prep our organization and have us ready to be able to win and flip the seat for sure in 2028. But that shifted in my head. Once I started building a campaign and started seeing enthusiasm, I'm like, okay, let's win this thing. And that's become the focus. I set out shortly after that, I said, okay, what we need to do is build a campaign that's capable of flipping this seat. And that means we got to have all the pieces in place. We got to have people. We got to have the infrastructure. We got to have the websites. We've got to be able to raise money. We've got to have a good, strong social media presence. We've got to buy advertising on digital media. We've got to do all those things in order to flip a seat. And we've got them all in place. We're ready. We raised good money so far this cycle. And you know, my opponent has had money in the bank because he was able to raise money in the off years. But we're in a position to do pretty good things. So I'm excited.
Love that optimism.
Yeah. Yeah. And why don't you share where our listeners can actually find out what's up with your campaign, where they can donate, where they can volunteer time?
Yeah. Well, probably the easiest thing is to go to my website, which is jefflarsonforhouse.com. And on that site, you can learn a little bit about the issues that we're talking about. You can sign up to volunteer or make donations. You can donate on ActBlue through there. And we really do need ongoing donations in order. We're about halfway to our goal. So we got a lot more to raise between now and November 3rd.
Well, I'll make sure to put your ActBlue in the show notes so that people.
And we also
can
have
go directly to
a pretty good presence on Instagram and Facebook. And that's also Jeff Larson for Minnesota House 10B. And there's links to that on the website as well. So
that. Perfect.
yeah.
Great.
Well, Jeff, thank you so much for coming on today. We're so excited to spotlight local candidates. Monica and I truly believe that these local races are so critical right now. The Republicans have spent well over 25, 30 years deliberately going in and taking over the majority in these House and these state and local governments, even city governments. And
School boards.
Yep, school boards, and we are in the process of taking things back. So thank you so much for stepping up last minute for the people of your district, and good luck in the upcoming election.
Thank you guys for the opportunity to be here with you today. It means a lot that you give some attention to a little long shot race in central Minnesota. We need it, and we're hoping we can get out there and surprise some people this year. So thank you for your part in this.
You're welcome.
We
want
hope
you
so
to,
too.
Yeah, and I want to push back on that a little bit. No race is too little or small. Every single one of these races is important, and you're all critical.
Right
so
on.
So
You're absolutely right. It's so good.
Thank you. Thank you so much
Thanks,
for coming
Jeff.
on today.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
To our listeners, if you are finding meaning in the stories we're sharing, if something moves you, challenges you, makes you see the world a little differently, please like, comment, and share. It helps more than you know.
And follow us everywhere at The Politics Chicks on Substack, Threads, Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook.
Thanks for being a part of our community. Keep shining your light so we can find each other in the dark.
And remember, we're stronger together. Thank you so much, Jeff. Good luck on November 3rd.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jeff.
Thank you so much.